Imagine a love where passion and danger collide, where every move is being watched. This is the story of Selena and Damien, a love that burns hearts and hides dark secrets. But they're not alone. Someone else is silently watching. If you want to dive into an unforgettable tale of drama and suspense, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because on this journey anything can happen. Are you ready? Let's begin. It had been exactly 1 year since Selena last saw Damien. 1 year since their hands last touched. 1 year since their final kiss turned into a silent war. And yet, her skin still remembered. The city felt colder this time of year, but maybe that was just the absence of his body beside hers. She walked past the familiar bookstore on Fifth Avenue. Her breath fogged the window as she paused. For a moment, she wasn't 32 years old. She was 27 again. Her fingers were intertwined with his, her lipstick freshly smudged from stolen kisses between the poetry aisles. But that was then. And this aching silence inside her was now. Damien sat alone in a dimly lit bar 3 blocks away. His fingers wrapped loosely around a half-empty glass of bourbon. The same drink he had the night Selena left. The night she walked out, heels clicking across the hardwood floor of his apartment like gunshots. Since then, nothing had tasted right. Not food, not liquor, not even other women. He wasn't celibate, but he wasn't touched. Every body that lay beneath him only brought her closer to his mind. And that was the most maddening part. How her ghost lived in his hands, in the shadows of his sheets, in the whispers of his dreams. He took another sip. Then he looked up, and he saw her. Selena. Hair longer, sharper, and that red silk dress that clung to her like memory, like revenge. Their eyes locked. Neither of them moved. Time for a moment stopped trying to pretend it had moved on. He stood. So did she. And without a word, they began walking, separately yet toward the same door. From across the street, Marcus watched. A camera hung around his neck, though he wasn't taking photos tonight. He didn't need to. He had thousands. Folders upon folders named after Selena. Archived, dated, categorized. She was art. She was truth. She was his. He lit a cigarette with steady fingers, but his heart was trembling. He had followed her every move since the day she met Damien. First it was curiosity, then admiration. Then, when she chose someone else, something darker. Wow. She had never seen him. Not really. Not the way Damien had. But tonight would change that. Marcus smiled through the smoke, as Selena and Damien disappeared into the hotel lobby across the street. Room 614. He already knew. Inside the elevator, silence stretched between them. But it wasn't empty. It was thick. Selena leaned against the cold mirror, her chest rising and falling like a storm building inside her. Damien turned to face her. Their eyes said everything their pride had silenced for months. "You're still angry," she whispered. He stepped closer. "I'm still yours." The elevator dinged. Room 614. Damien's hand shook slightly as he slid the keycard in. Not from nervousness, from restraint. The second the door clicked open, she walked past him, dropped her purse, turned to face him. Her lips parted, breath short. "Don't speak," she said. "Just." Her voice broke. "Touch me like I was never gone." He kissed her like time owed them everything. Like months of silence could be burned away by friction. His hands moved over her back, down the zipper of that impossible dress. Her skin, warm and familiar, made him forget every woman who ever tried to replace her. She wasn't a fantasy. She was the storm he never survived. Across the street, Marcus focused his lens. The curtains weren't fully drawn. He could see shadows. He zoomed in. Blick, blick, blick. Marcus whispered to himself. You think he loves you, but I've loved you in silence. Loved you deeper than he ever will. He opened his laptop and began writing. The room was thick with the scent of burnt amber and rain pressing against the window panes. Outside, the city hummed with life, unaware of the quiet storm brewing inside. Selena's fingers trembled as she traced the faint scar along Damien's jaw, a mark he never spoke of. I missed this, she confessed, her voice barely more than a breath. He pulled her closer, their bodies pressing together, the heat between them reigniting. But even as passion flared, the shadows outside crept closer. Marcus sat in a cramped apartment a few blocks away, eyes locked on the glowing screen of his laptop. He wasn't just watching, he was learning. Every detail of Selena's life, every secret whispered in the dead of night. He smiled darkly, fingers flying over the keys. You think you escaped me, Selena? I am the shadow in your flame, the silence between your breaths. And soon you'll see. No one owns you like I do. Back in room 614, Selena and Damien clung to each other, a fragile truce woven from years of pain and desire. But the past has a way of clawing its way back. A sudden knock on the door shattered the moment. Damien froze. Who is it? Selena asked, panic threading her voice. No answer. Another knock, louder this time. Damien moved to the door cautiously, heart pounding. Through the peephole, a shadow flickered. No face, no name. Only a single envelope slid under the door. Selena picked it up, hands shaking. Inside was a photograph. Picture of them. Intimate. Too intimate. Taken without their knowledge. And beneath it, a note scrawled in messy handwriting. You can't hide from me, Marcus. The room went cold. Selena's breath hitched. Damien's jaw clenched. They were no longer alone. The rain outside had slowed to a quiet drizzle, the kind that clings softly to the edges of windows and refuses to let go. Inside room 614, Selena sat on the edge of the bed, the photograph trembling in her hands. The image was sharp, intimate, damn near invasive, a frozen moment of passion and vulnerability she never intended to share with the world. Her eyes met Damien's, and in that moment, the fragile walls they'd built between themselves began to crumble. We're not safe, she whispered. He's closer than we thought. Damien crossed the room and sat beside her, his fingers gently brushing a stray strand of hair from her face. Marcus has always been there, lurking in the background, he said quietly, voice rough with exhaustion and something deeper, something that simmered beneath his carefully constructed calm. We just didn't see the weight of his obsession. Selena's gaze dropped to the photograph again. How did he get this? When? Why? Damien's jaw tightened. That's what we need to find out, before it's too late. They had thought the storm had passed the night they reunited. Passion had flooded their veins, chased away the cold. But now, that fire threatened to consume them in a different way. Selena ran her fingers along the scar Damien bore. Not the one on his jaw, but the one on his wrist, thin, jagged, and worn like a secret whispered in shadows. She had never asked. Now she wanted to know. Tell me, she said softly. Damien hesitated, then pulled her closer, wrapping his arms around her protectively. It was Marcus. The night everything changed. The memory crashed down on them like a tidal wave, dragging them back into the past. It was 3 years ago, at a party dripping with silk and whiskey, the air thick with promise and danger. Selena had laughed too loudly, and Damien had watched her across the room. His gaze fierce, possessive. Marcus was there too, lurking, his eyes like a predator's. A careless comment, a spilled drink, a moment of jealousy ignited into rage. Marcus had stepped too close to Selena, whispered things meant to wound. Damien's temper snapped, a fight exploded, and in the chaos, Marcus's anger took a darker turn. Marcus's hands weren't just clenched fists that night, Damien murmured, his voice low and haunted. He wanted to break us, to own her, to own me. Sir, I got it trying to protect her. Selena shivered, both from the memory and the rawness of his words. And now he's back, she said, voice trembling. Damien's eyes hardened. He won't stop. Not until one of us is gone. Outside the window, the streetlights flickered, casting long shadows that crept like fingers across the walls. They were trapped, torn between the desire to fight for their rekindled love and the fear of the man stalking them from the darkness. Selena stood, pacing the room, mind racing. "We can't run forever," she said. "But maybe we don't have to." She turned to Damien, eyes blazing. "We fight. Together." Damien nodded, pulling her into an embrace that promised both protection and fire. But even as they planned, Marcus was already moving. His presence felt like a chill creeping beneath their skin. In a dimly lit room miles away, Marcus watched them through his screens. His smile was a cruel slash in the darkness. "They think they can hide," he whispered, voice thick with obsession. "But every breath they take is mine to claim." The game had changed, and in this twisted dance of passion and peril, only one question remained. Who would break first? The night stretched before them like an unspoken promise, thick with heat and possibility. Selena's breath hitched as Damien's fingers traced the delicate curve of her neck. His touch a silent vow, fierce, tender, and utterly consuming. Their bodies moved together with a hunger born from months of absence, the air charged with the electricity of forbidden reunion. Every sigh, every whispered name was a confession. They weren't just touching skin, they were unraveling years of pain, betrayal, and unspoken desire. Outside the room, the city slept unaware of the storm raging within these walls. But the quiet was a fragile mask. Marcus watched through the cracked window of his hidden refuge, heart pounding, breath shallow. His obsession had pushed him beyond the edge. Tonight he wouldn't just watch, he would act. Inside room 614, Selena's fingers tangled in Damien's hair as their lips collided, fierce and desperate. "I'm yours," Damien murmured between kisses. "No matter what comes." Selena's eyes shimmered with tears and fire. "And I'm yours. Always." Their shadows danced on the walls, two souls burning bright in a world of darkness. Suddenly, a sharp knock shattered the intimacy. Both froze. Damien's gaze snapped to the door. Selena's pulse thundered in her ears. The knock came again, urgent, insistent. Damien moved swiftly, opening the door to reveal Marcus, drenched in rain and madness. "You think you can hide from me?" Marcus snarled, eyes wild. "This ends tonight." Selena stepped forward, voice steady despite the storm inside. "You don't own us. Tense silence. Then Marcus lunged. Damien caught him, their struggle fierce and raw. Selena watched, heart pounding. The line between love and danger blurred in the rain-soaked night. In a desperate moment, Selena pressed her body against Damien's. Heat meeting heat, passion igniting. "Remember this," she whispered to Marcus. "This is love, and it's stronger than your obsession." Marcus faltered, rage twisting into confusion. The moment broke. He stumbled back, disappearing into the night. Selena and Damien stood, bodies entwined, hearts beating as one. The danger was far from over. But in that charged silence, they found a truth unbreakable. Their love would burn through any shadow.